Hello and welcome to Porsche Cup Challenge here tonight. We are in Norway at Rudskogen, and it's going to be a wonderful race here tonight. We've got the 15-minute sprint as always, and then the top 8 are going to be inverted, and we're going to see a 30-minute feature. So joined in the booth here tonight by Mr. Zach Purcell. How you doing, Zach?
Race again is a tough track with lots of elevation changes, and it's super easy to defend on. So I think we're going to see some pretty aggressive defense because to make a move stick is very difficult here. So interested to see how that works. But we've seen plenty of mistakes. So getting around someone when they make a mistake, trying to pressure them into it, may be the best strategy today.
Yeah, that's always a very good way to get around. And I know the drivers here, though, they have a lot of talent. It might not be as easy as one might think. So we'll have to see. And when that first heat comes around, see how everybody does getting around people. I know we saw a lot of hard chargers last week, so we might not see quite the same thing this week.
Yeah, an interesting thing to pay attention to also during these races is that it's pretty easy to pick up slowdowns on this track. I mean, you'll still get the incident points for going off track, but the curbs are essentially non-existent. They may as well just be painted there. This is the stark opposite of what we saw in Manucure a few weeks ago, where those curbs were just punishing and they were huge. Almost every single curb on this entire track all it does is just make a sound. Like there's no raised height to it or anything, and so it makes you cut the corners more and more and more to get the speed until you do it too much, and then you get a pretty aggressive slowdown. So I wouldn't be shocked to see someone losing a couple spots just from doing that by pushing the limits a little too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to get that slowdown, and then you're losing 3-4 spots down the straight. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that as Michael McLeod crosses the line for his 4th lap. That is the last person that needed to set his laps, and now we just wait until...
I noticed there, Philippe Straffarelli there should be listed as a pro in the standings there.
Alrighty, we'll throw him in. But, so we have just a little wait now, and we'll see that gridding procedure start, and nobody else has a lap to do. And I think we will have quite a race.
Yeah, I think there's just one person. I think there's just one guy, just Shannon Mothral. He's currently sitting in the pits, though, so looks like he's not trying to do another one, but he's the only guy who hasn't officially completed qualifying.
So we'll see some beautiful scenery here of this track. Norway, nice mountains here. I really want to come here, go skiing at one of the big hills way up north. I guess it's not really a hill.
Yeah, this is
it's
pretty
more of a
far
mountain.
south here, yeah.
But still a beautiful area. So let's take a look at our grid. And Devin Horvath puts it on pole, followed by Samuel K. Sproul, Ben Peterson, Marco Valverde, Michael McLeod, Aiden Young, Ariel Julian, Michael Carrillo, Manrique Valverde, Carl Ribbing, Troy Fenelon, and then Philippe Straffarelli.
On those guys starting in 13th, we have Aaron Hall and Young Choi. And then Shannon Mothral, Luigi Santiago, Dan Morera, Gary Watson, Stefan Eckenrode, Mark Santana, Miguel Souza, Stefan Chalafu, Michael Murillo, and Crispin Hudson.
And then lastly, Antoine Decache, who did not set a lap time, I believe. So
yeah, not in the session.
We will we'll see how this race goes. 24 cars.
A very short run to the first turn for sure.
It very much is. That's car 1, our pole sitter, and you can see just behind that sign there is turn 1. So it's going to be quite an interesting race.
Yeah, the start will be important. Like I said, easy to pass on this track, so you need to get out ahead when it's easy, and the easiest time will be here right at the start of the race. It'll make it interesting for the reverse grid as well for the second heat, because guys who are really fast in this first one are gonna have to make their way, you know, through the field.
They definitely will. But we have just about every car, just waiting on a few more, and then the cars will go green. So, gridding procedure over. The lights. There is 1, 3, and 5 lights. Now they're out, and away goes the field. Devin Horvath from pole gets a decent start. He's managed to stay ahead, but Michael McLeod from back behind's looking to take over for P3, but no, he can't do that. And oh boy, there's some drama. I see Ariel Julian might have had a problem there. And further back, let's take a look here. We've got Marco Valverde side by side with I believe that is Aiden Young in the green car, and then another Valverde behind him. Manrique is right behind, but ooh, there's some contact possibly somewhere. And they're still side by side. That's Ariel Julian going off track. Aaron Hall's under attack there by Young Choi and Shenema Thrall. But they all make it through nice and clean. Further back, that's Luigi Santiago going for the move on Stefan Chalafu. But he can't make it stick. Back up the field again, out in front. Not quite, but 7th place. Philippe Straffarelli holding it down from Michael Carrillo, and Valverde behind, who misses his braking point, and he goes right off the track, unfortunately for the driver there. But he manages to keep it out of everybody's bumper, and it's just going to be a lost spot for him. Valverde's going up the inside of Ribbing and makes a nice pass there, and now he's looking to overtake Philippe Straffarelli, but can't get it done just yet. Further up, Aiden Young going at it.
Nice move.
Nicely done on Manrique Valverde. He gets past. So,
yeah, on the start of that race, Marco Valverde had a really rough start off the line, got swallowed, actually managed to make up a couple positions before then going off in that braking zone like we saw, and he's down 4 from where he started.
Yeah, that was a big start to the race there. That was a lot of action, a lot of drama, but nobody got too hurt from it. Everybody kept it relatively clean, so nicely done.
Yeah, we're already starting to see some spread among the field with some of those side-by-side incidents slowing them down, but Devin Horvath looking very strong up at front with Ben Peterson not really giving them that much room behind them.
Yeah, not a lot to say for Devin. He did very well off the line, and he's managed to hold on to it. But further back now, Michael Murillo and Mark Santana are going to have some sort of battle coming up ahead, so we'll take a look at them in a few minutes. Young Choi is right on the bumper of Aaron Hall as well, going through that corner there, but as the time they get on the throttle, Aaron Hall is a little bit further ahead.
Yeah, not too many large surprises other than those incidents we saw Ariel Julian have. He was sideways in turn 1. I'm not sure what he got caught up in there, but he was off the track, and then we saw him go deep in that long downhill section.
Yeah, I think he just missed his braking zone, and that kind of sent him. But Ariel Julian thought he could pull out, but couldn't do it. Let's see if we can take a look. That's Marco Valverde going down the hill, and yeah, just misses his
way
brakes.
Deep there.
What?
Yeah, look strong for Devin Horvath there. Horvath, who had his best outing last week at Silverstone, where he got second in both heats, doing really well to try to keep up that momentum. And then Marco Valverde, like we just mentioned, he was the guy who won both heats last week at Silverstone, and he's going to have a lot of work ahead to try to match that kind of effort today here at Rudsk again. Yeah,
Miguel Souza with a incident there. He drops to the back of the pack, as well as Steven Eckenrode had a incident and is in the pits.
Yeah, Eckenrode, I'm not even sure actually if he ever even took the grid. I think he joined late. Yeah, he never took the grid.
Jump to pits, left pits, jump to pits. I don't know. Anyways, they are out there and they're moving. It's nice to see the Valverdes with their matching liveries there, but if I was Mr. Michael Carrillo in that purple car, I might be a little intimidated by the matching liveries right on my bumper.
Yeah, the Peterson had a slow previous lap, which helped Sproul get around him. You see Marco Valverde on the outside.
There the Valverdes go.
It's not a battling turn.
But
wow,
they both make it work.
There, Carrillo.
Yeah, both of them get by, the Valverdes do. And nicely done. That's Mark Santana there on Ariel Julian in the same corner. Young Choi going a little bit wide. But Mark Santana just can't make it work quite the way the Valverdes did.
Yeah, Horvath looking strong. He's got more of a gap than he did before because of Sproul and Peterson
Carrillo up the
swapping
inside,
positions.
and Peterson went a little bit wide there. And Aiden Young's gonna have a nice run on him now, but it's not quite enough going into this next complex of corners.
Yeah, Peterson's now lost 2 positions in 2 laps, and Aiden Young all over the back of him. So he needs to, stop the bleeding now.
Yeah, he's gotta get with it. That is Gary Watson. Bleeding a few positions there. Ariel Julian gets by him, and Mark Santana also looking to get by down this straight if he can, as Stefan Chalafou is lurking in the background as well.
Horvath still one of the fastest guys on track.
There goes Santana on the inside, and he's got it done. Can he hold it through the next corners? He's a little bit wider.
On the outside here.
It's a long way to go around the outside, but he's got the momentum, and he's ahead.
Nice move.
Nicely done.
Yeah, you don't want to be trying to battle through this section. We've seen it, and one person definitely always comes out as the loser.
They sure do.
But up at the front, Horvath best lap of 122.2, and then his previous lap also matched that again with another 122.2. So he's flying right now. Sproul's fast as well, but I mean, he's starting to pull himself away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, he definitely has those tires turned on, and he's locked in with his pace, because running away 4 seconds almost in about 6 laps is not
purple.
too bad. Yeah, 120. Oh no, never mind. Benji Peterson steals it from him by about, I don't know, 1/100th.
Yeah. So Peterson starting to turn things around a little bit. I had a good start off the line. Actually even gained a position, but then lost the position to Sproul, lost the position to McLeod, and he's going to have to try to keep Young behind him although he has pulled quite a bit of a gap now. So he's more on the attack on McLeod and ahead. But this would be McLeod's best finish of the season so far as well.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a nice 3rd place for the night. You gotta like that. See if he can hold on to it.
McLeod's currently 6th in the standings for Pro. Does have the one drop, which was a 0, so didn't have any of the other results drop, but has been pretty consistent. But this would be a good first step to easily his highest points of the season so far.
Yeah, it sure would be a nice finish for him. And, I mean, a podium's always something to celebrate. Let's see if he can hold on to it. He's got just about 7 minutes to go. We're about halfway through this race here. Oh, yeah, Murillo sideways. That's going to cost him some time. He's bleeding positions. Mark Santana gets by. Gary Watson looking to get by, but he holds him off into the corner.
Yeah, once you get the positioning, it's really easy to defend here. He's lucky he didn't have any worse damage than that. I'm not shocked to see braking mistakes going into that corner, though. It's really difficult. It shoots downhill right beforehand, and you have to use more steering lock than you probably expect off the bat. So he's not the first person to have made a mistake there, and he's not going to be the last, that's for sure.
No, he sure won't be, but look at this.
Oh,
we are too wide. Chalafou up the inside on Gary Watson.
Too deep.
But
that may have been a slowdown. We'll have to see.
At least for the time being, he holds on to it and makes that nice move work. Very nice.
Yeah, that was a good spin. It's tough in that turn 1. You got to be on the inside because it's really tight. I wish it was less tight, and I think battling would be a little bit easier, but it's very tight in that turn 1.
It sure is. It's a lot tighter than it even looks on the broadcast. when you're coming up there. You think you can put down the power a little bit earlier, but you really can't, as Young Choi takes a little bit of a wider line there.
Yeah, nearly ran into the back of Gary Watson. It came very close, and then he swung out wide to avoid that contact, but lucky to not see two drivers involved there. There's a purple by Michael McLeod, so he drops under the 22s into a 1:21.9. So guys still getting faster out there. Doing well in third. I mean, he's certainly under pressure from Peterson behind, so that's nerves of steel there.
Yeah, he's doing really good. And out in front, the gap has dropped by about 0.3 to Devin Horvath. That's not a lot, but that does mean they're catching him a little bit, at least.
Yeah, 4 laps to go, probably.
It's looking pretty good for him, but you never know, especially now that I've mentioned his name.
Yeah, you know the power of that.
That'll curse him. So we'll let him do his thing out there, and we'll check back at the end of the race.
Ariel Julian doing a good job of recovering from those early incidents. Luckily, that didn't cause any damage to him. He's got Shannon Mothral right on the front of his bumper now, but he's doing well to claw back those positions, get back some more points, because he's 5th in the overall standings. He's had some good weeks for sure, and needs to keep up the momentum to stick with those guys ahead. It's a very close battle with a lot of those guys at the front.
It sure is. This is one of the tightest championships that I've seen in iRacing. They are super close, and I think
and another purple by Sproul. They just keep speeding up.
They are getting faster and faster. That fuel is burning down, and the tires are I guess seemingly getting better.
Yeah, it Sproul purple there, not fast enough, I don't think, to get Horvath in this. He was only a tenth or two faster than Horvath on that lap, and he's got.
There goes Julian up the inside though. Hold on.
Nice move.
And it's routine maintenance there for Julian. Nicely done.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably the last spot he's going to get. 10 seconds up to Aaron Hall in front, but still. Well done to only be down 6 after pretty much being the last of the field, just a couple turns in.
Yeah, he held on to it very nicely there, and I mean, Mothral left him all the room he needed to get it done, and that was his spot for the taking. Young Choi going in the dirt a little bit, it looks like, through that downhill.
Yeah, there's like infinite runoff there to the left, luckily. So probably not going to ruin your race if you mess up that turn, although you certainly will lose some time. But it looks like he was okay as far as the gap behind him.
Yes, and then that's
I saw
Aaron
smoke
Hall.
there.
Aaron Hall has gone around there. Let's take a look at what happened.
There's
to
Julian.
Him. Julian can get by him. This is what happened for Hall.
By the grass here.
Ooh,
it's just already before even making it to the corner exit.
So now Valverde on Young here. This is Marco Valverde and Aiden Young. Marco Valverde has about maybe one more lap.
Yeah, it will be 1 lap to go when Horvath crosses, but Valverde certainly has the pace. He was about 4 tenths faster on the previous lap, 3 or 4 tenths, and just needs to make one good move. But Aiden Young's done well at defending this season so far, and if he can just keep it mistake-free, should be able to stay ahead.
So that's what he needs, no mistakes. And we know Aiden Young; he's a very talented driver. I think he has the skill to hold on to this P4, but we've seen some last minute changes for Aiden Young in the past, so hopefully he holds on to it here tonight as Michael McLeod with another purple.
It was a pretty tight range there, but we have hit the white flag just barely.
So this needs to happen this lap for Valverde if he wants any chance of that 4th place. Although the 4th place will mean that he starts even further back. Yeah, even further back. So Valverde would now start in, I believe, 4th, and Aiden Young would start in 5th. So slight position swap there, and in a better position for starting that longer 30-minute feature race.
For the main passing zone really is going into turn 1. We've seen a couple moves there, and then this is the next passing zone down into this long 180-degree right-hander, but not close enough to make a move. So it's probably out of chances now.
Yeah, it's not looking too promising for him. But all eyes can shift to this man right here, Devin Horvath, as he's about to cross the line, leading every lap. Not really any competition for the man. He's going to take the win for the feature race, or the sprint race. And really not a foot set wrong in this race. There we go. Aiden Young actually did lose the spot as we took a look there. Let's see if we can find what happened and get a nice replay of that, because I don't think there was really much of a chance for him to.
No, it was a crazy send. Yeah, get the replay on that. That was crazy by Valverde. Very well done. Just kind of comes out of nowhere, and I don't even think Aiden Young thought he was going to make a move there.
Yeah, he just he did come out of nowhere, and then after that was pretty much your last chance to get by, because this long sweeping corner, you can't really do much. And there you go.
Yeah, we also saw Troy Fenelon get around Carl Ribbing on that last lap as well. So I'm not really sure what happened to Ribbing. I think Ribbing may have had. Oh, he nearly lost it in that long corner that I was talking about. It's the second passing zone. So, lucky to keep it on track, but that's where we saw that position lost.
Alrighty then. Well, that's not super good there for Aiden Young in terms of getting those points, but it does mean that he will start a little bit further up the grid than Valverde will. So maybe he can use that to his advantage in the feature.
Well, I mean, the one thing though is that the even number positions have to start on the right side. So with how tight that first corner is, I mean, debatably, just depending on how the guys in front of you start, you may even prefer to be 5th over 4th for this race, just because you'll be able to claim that inside. You know, no one's going to be on the inside of you there. We'll see how it plays out. He obviously will be starting, a car back or so, but it could still work out well for Valverde, despite the fact that he's a spot further back.
Only time will tell. I say that a lot here, but racing is such an unpredictable thing. So there's really no way to tell what's going to happen, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to watch these drivers go around. It's going to be a double the length this race will be, but of course a little bit more pressure because there's more points to be awarded.
I think that was probably the cleanest sprint heat that we've had all season so far. Obviously tough to battle a little bit here, but I mean, we only saw like one big incident, and that was Julian at the start of the race, and not exactly sure what happened there, but I mean, for the most part, that was really clean. There were some slow get-offs from the line, and still no one got swallowed up or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've seen a sprint without, I don't know, at least 3 cars having some sort of trouble at the beginning.
So yes, I see Julian's. Yeah, I see he kind of got murked at the start of that race. So hopefully he has a little bit of a better start, because I mean, he literally was last going into turn 2.
Yikes. All right, well, a fresh start for everybody tonight for the feature race here, and hopefully for some it's a better race than just 2 minutes ago.
It'll be 1 minute.
So Michael Carrillo is going to be on pole here tonight for our feature. He finished 8th in the sprint, and then Ben Peterson's going to be joining him on the front row as the 7th place finisher. And then
you have to think Peterson's one of the favorites here.
Yeah, he was faster in quali, and had a few mistakes, I think, and then you know, lost it. But the lights are about to begin, so there's 1, there's 3, there's 5, and now there's none. There goes Michael Carrillo, but look at Peterson's start. Yeah, he is all the way up to the front again, and now they're almost 4 wide back there, 3 wide. Valverde going up the inside. Valverde following Valverde through. There's 2 Valverdes. I love saying that.
Sproul bumped netcode.
And there's looks like some contact in the back there, but other than that, relatively clean. Dan Morera is looking to go around there. That's Michael Murillo in that beautiful aqua car, cyan, whatever you want to call it. And as they head down to turn 3, Manrique Valverde is going to lead Marco Valverde. Then we've got Michael McLeod and Troy Fenelon duking it out behind Aiden Young. And Aiden Young is trying to chase down Devin Horvath. Devin Horvath is up 3 spots already on the start of this race. And Marco Valverde is going to... Yeah, Marco Valverde is up into second now, following a little bit of a misjudgment by Manrique.
Horvath wide, may lose a spot to McLeod here.
Yeah, 2 wide. There's Horvath. McLeod is on the outside, but of course it's a left-hand turn. So, Aiden Young and Carrillo. Yep, that's going to be more positions lost for them. You don't want to spin on lap 1 because that's going to cost you so many positions. At a track where it's... Go ahead.
Off that start, Carrillo, very interestingly, he didn't have wheel spin. It was just a late reaction. Peterson nailed it immediately when the fifth light, when the lights went green.
Inside.
Nice move there.
And it's a done deal.
But Carrillo was just late on the reaction, and then he got passed by Marco Valverde behind him before they got to turn 1 as well.
Yeah, I mean, Peterson, it was very clearly bad jump off the line, or not Peterson, but it was just a bad jump off the line there, and then Peterson just kind of swallowed him up and took the lead.
Yeah, that was a perfect start for Peterson. He just needed a decent one, but that one was perfect.
Yeah, and now he's
both Valverdes out right behind Peterson. Peterson extends his lead. I don't know how they came together. Oh, and then Ariel Julian.
Oh!
A bunch of people.
Carnage.
Julian, Santana. Who doesn't? Hall. Murillo.
No.
Fenelon, I think.
Dropping lots of people, but that's Morera there and Chalafu, and Morera's going to be ahead. Oh, and more spinning back there. I think that was Julian possibly. Sideways in the... and that is... another car. That's Eckenrode that's going to be sideways in the wall behind. And wow. Carnage ensues on lap 3.
Yeah, so what happened, Marco Valverde got into the grass. Manrique Valverde amazingly avoided him. Drove through the grass, somehow avoided, and no one behind was able to escape it. It caught up so many people in that. And we've got a lot of guys who have some major damage and have had to come in for pits. So. But watch this. He just gets in the grass a little bit. I don't know how Manrique had the response, the reaction time to avoid that, but he completely saved his race there. He's got Devin Horvath chasing him right now, but he's not out of the race like a lot of those other guys were.
All right, so here's Marco Valverde. He's sideways. Tries to get back on track. Let's see.
That was not smart.
Yeah.
Julian just gets destroyed there.
That's Santana there. Aaron Hall, I believe. Yeah. Not a...
Raffarelli, I believe, is in that as well.
Oh, look at that. Watson and Carrillo side by side, and Watson's going to come out on top, which I thought Carrillo would have had it there. And now he's even losing spots there to Mr. Eckenrode, if Eckenrode can hold it, but he has to back out. All right, so 4 minutes in.
Yeah.
That
so
was
much for me saying that sprint was clean. That was half the field wrecked in this feature so far.
We love a good commentator's curse, but
But Manrique Valverde at the front putting in a purple lap there, 1:22.5. That's very fast.
That was Chalafu sideways, but Young's up the inside, and Young's past Murillo, but I mean, it wasn't too hard, as you could see Murillo's missing a hood there.
Yeah, he's got some bad damage. He was there right at the front of that pack of guys who got wrecked.
So Chalafu, another car with major damage, is about to get passed by Carrillo, but he's defending that line pretty nicely there. Carrillo's going to try for the inside.
Switch back.
And it's going to work, surely. There's
not
much
he's
you
got
can
more
do.
arrow.
Not much you can do once you have the inside line on that long sweeping corner there.
Yeah, it's a tough corner to pass on, but as long as you can get up there enough when you send it, you'll be all right. But very difficult to break through that. You're turning the entire time, braking a certain amount. But yeah, right now, Manrique Valverde, he set purple last lap, but Devin Horvath, especially for this the last half of this lap, has been all over the back of him. In that last corner there, came very close. And actually, Michael McLeod now putting in the purple of a 121.9.
Yeah, he's up to 4th, so his 3rd place finish in the sprint could become a 3rd place finish in the feature if he catches Devin Horvath. Devin was very fast, but I know he's got a lot of pace still.
And check that, too. Young Choi right on the back of Dan Moreira trying to get another spot, and he's up 14. We saw him have a couple incidents in the first heat, but he avoided all of them for this heat and up 14 spots all the way to 7th overall.
Yeah, that's not too bad of a start. Luigi Santiago's up 11, and Moreira is up 7. Murillo's up 8, but we can see Murillo driving around without a hood there, so we'll see how long that can last for him.
I'm interested here watching. Horvath. Horvath is definitely making Manrique Valverde uncomfortable. He's doing a couple dummy sends. He's taking different lines, and it looks like Valverde's just a little uncomfortable. He goes a little bit wide there, and Horvath is right there just to pressure him yet again. Horvath has been faster through this corner, so let's see what happens. There's a couple different ways you can take this corner.
Let's see what he can do here. Horvath goes way wider in the exit, but
it's probably enough to get an incident there, but yeah, definitely wide.
Nothing brewing, but look at Michael McLeod. He is right on the bumper now of Devin Horvath. He caught up a considerable amount since last lap, and that's going to further his chances of taking another podium here in the feature.
Yeah, I mean, Valverde and actually Peterson as well, both 122.8s. Horvath trying to catch up 122.6, and then McLeod was 122 flat. So, yeah, he's completely caught up to this pair. And it's not that Valverde's being that slow. He's as fast as the leader right now. But he does seem just a little bit uncomfortable with his car placement, not knowing exactly when Horvath's going to send it. He does it here again, a little bit of a dummy send, putting the car a little bit on the inside, and just kind of messes with Valverde's lines.
Yeah, this is some high IQ.
Dummy. Yeah, he's racing well. This is how you do it at Risk again, for sure.
Yeah, you got to race with your brain, and it's all the mental games here. It's who can stay on top and locked in for the longest. But that is a lot of smoke. That is Matheral and the Papst car spun around in the grass there.
Down.
Yes, Matheral is in 20th. But that is like a straight for another lap, and they are going to be still about the same distance they were last lap. So we'll come back to them.
They're all running about the same pace as Ben Peterson in front. So Peterson's still looking healthy. He's got about a 3-second gap and will certainly be benefited from these guys necessarily losing time to each other through this battling right now.
Oh, this battle, though, that is Luigi Santiago and Mr. Souza, Michael F. Souza, going at it. And
and he loses it.
He was ahead, but then out of nowhere, the car just kind of slipped around on him, and that's going to cost him not 1 but 2 spots. And he's not what you want. But Marco Valverde, who already had some issues earlier on in this race, seems like he at least told me he had some other issues. Maybe he went a little bit deep in that corner, that downhill right-hander.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. He's got some bad damage to the rear. I honestly thought it would have been worse given how he was hit, but At the very least, he's able to stay alive sitting there in 11th, but his pace has definitely been affected and probably the control of the car.
Uh-oh, that is young Choi.
We just were talking. He may be okay. We'll have to see if it's crabbing or not.
Seems to be driving okay. That may be one of the luckiest crashes we've seen.
He just has to get his confidence back. But yeah, the car looks okay. Looks like he'll be all right. Still up a lot of positions from where he started, but lost few. And then Santiago, as we just mentioned, he's up 12. He's the guy behind him now.
Yeah, so Santiago's doing pretty well. I believe this is one of his first races with us.
Yeah, maybe the second, but certainly a guy who's new and trying to rack up some points right now. So he's doing well, made up a lot of spots from where he had to start at the start of this race and avoiding some of the carnage that we saw before.
So 4 drivers completely out of the
Horvath
race.
makes it around Manrique Valverde. They're fighting.
Here we go. So there's Valverde up the
Valverde
inside,
gets it back.
and he's going to have that second place back. But look
And
for
then
Michael.
McLeod.
Michael McLeod can't quite make his nose fit up there, and he's going to have to back out a little bit. Doesn't have the speed, but does he have some sort of answer on exit? Down the final straight? No.
Yeah, the pass by Horvath, I think, was another dummy that Valverde kind of moved to avoid, and then it turned into a real move. And they actually made a little bit of a contact, just very, very minor little door banging that they had going on there. But I think that Valverde's probably not going to forget that when Horvath sends his next move. He probably feels a little bit miffed.
Yeah, here's Morera. He's going to back out, though. But yeah, the way that Horvath drives, it's all the mental games, and I think Valverde just needs to realize that a lot of these moves, they seem stupid. He's not going to go for, but you're still leaving space because you think he will. So you really just got to, trust that he's a good driver and he's not going to go for a move that would wreck both of you out, because that's what's scaring him. A move, he thinks, oh, don't do that, and he'll kind of leave some space, and then Horvath can just drive right through.
Despite that, I don't know how they're doing it, and it must be mistakes up front, but they're catching up to Peterson on this lap. When Valverde crossed the line, he was 3.5 seconds back. Despite the battling that he had just had in the previous couple turns, it's under 2 seconds now. It's 1.8 seconds. So Peterson must have made a large mistake on this lap here to lose over 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he did. That's a 23.7.
Wow, and then a 122.1. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. It's a lot of time lost.
Seeing if I can figure it out.
All right, do some reporting. But Aaron Hall is chasing down Michael Murillo. They're both up 8 spots on the night, but Aaron wants to make that 9, and Murillo is hoping that number doesn't go down to 7.
Interesting. I can't really figure out exactly what it was that Peterson was slower on. No very noticeable mistake. Just kind of seemed to be a scruffy lap as his time delta just continued to rise just through some very minor mistakes in the corners.
We'll have to keep an eye on that then, because that gap is now down to 1.6 seconds, 1.4 seconds, 1.3 seconds even for a second there. So keep an eye on that gap.
Yeah, Valverde's got that fire lit under him with the Horvath right behind him, and I don't know. It just seems like Peterson's just doesn't have that next gear that the guys behind him have right now.
Yeah, Horvath and McLeod putting in a purple time there. Of course, McLeod stealing it, a 1:21.7. So they're definitely catching up to Mr. Peterson in front, but it's a matter of getting there, and then it's a whole different ball game to get past him.
Yeah, we saw some tight groups at Silverstone last week, not able to keep pace with guys in front, but this one they are keeping up.
Up the inside for Aaron Hall. A routine move I think we all predicted was going to come sooner or later.
Yeah, Hall not damaged in that wreck that we saw earlier, but he was one that had to drive off off course to avoid, so he lost some time, and making that back on Murillo there certainly has some bad damage to the car.
Yes, Murillo not so fortunate in that instance, but he's not doing too poorly either. He's still up 7 spots on the night.
It's just so easy to defend here. Valverde's, even if it doesn't seem like, Horvath's sitting on the inside here. He's going to have the advantage.
Yeah,
this is going to come down to turn 1.
He's almost a full car ahead now.
The outside though
got a nice run out of the final turn, and the inside line is where you want to be. Can Valverde hold it?
Deserves room.
And Horvath has the room. He gives it to him. And now Michael McLeod's going to slip through as well. So Valverde from 2nd, now in 4th in just one corner. That is not going to be a nice thing. And that outside line, of course, is not going to work for him. And McLeod's going to stay ahead.
He didn't even make a mistake. He did. He just, he lost out on the outside, and it was impossible for him to get back in and close the door on McLeod. There was no mistake on his part. Just came out of that battle with Horvath on the. Oh, and then he loses it into the grass.
Side, though, and he's gonna hit the wall as well.
Some damage to the left rear, but probably he's gonna be okay. Man, what a gap he had behind though.
Yeah, I mean he's
still 4th.
Not gonna cost him a spot. They are definitely running away from the competition, but if they're all that close in pace, I don't think he's gonna be able to catch up in just the 14 minutes left in this race. They were all so tight on pace, so they're not gonna gain. He's not gonna gain that much on them.
Yeah, he just needs to get his eyes forward. Worry about not losing time behind. Again, you can see there he's got quite a large gap, 10 seconds to Sproul behind, so he should be fine as long as he can just get it focused. He's got 10 laps to go. As long as the damage isn't too bad, which it doesn't look like it is, he can still finish 4th for sure.
Yeah, 4th place isn't a bad finish, especially considering how competitive this field is. He's just got to cut his losses and look forward, and I think it's still a good finish for him.
Interested to see now Horvath, now that he's been unleashed, if he's able to make ground on Peterson. It's currently just under 2 seconds, which is about what it was at the line. It was 2.1 at the line. So he seems maybe a little bit faster, but not quite enough to make a move in the next couple laps, most likely.
Yeah, of course, they lost about 7/10 duking it out there as they went on, and Horvath moved into the lead, into the 2nd place spot. But it's still coming down. I mean, another 3/10 have been dropped off that 2-second gap. So it's possible, but I guess it fluctuates all the time as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on them and see maybe by the end of this race, 12 minutes to go.
So Miguel de Souza looking at Gary Watson in front. These guys, both Souza's running in 15th with Watson in 14th, both up positions from where they started, up 7 for de Souza and up 5 for Watson.
Yeah, a lot of gainers and a lot of losers here tonight, especially Aiden Young, who's down 15. Still running, but 15 spots is definitely going to hurt.
Yeah, he's got a clean car because he came in for some repairs, I believe. So yeah, he's the second. He's running 2nd for guys who have had to come in to repair their car, which I mean it's something at least.
Yep. I mean, points are points, and every spot matters. Because remember, these guys, no matter where they finish or what class they're in, they all are scored on the same system. So 5th place, Sprout will get points for 5th place, and even though Carl Ribbing's going to win for amateurs, if he keeps it clean, he'll only get points for finishing 6th.
Which, speaking of, I don't think that Carl's going to be too upset by, because he's currently leading Aaron Hall by a single point in the AM category. He's at 164, Aaron Hall at 163. So he's going to be able to wow, that was
Michael
close.
McLeod locking up a little bit, but
he's going to be able to Yeah, he's going to be able to extend his lead on that, though. Troy Fenelon in third. However, he has not had as good of a race as Ribbing and Hall have.
Yeah, so Sproul with a 121.6. He's setting the pace currently.
Wow. It's unfortunate he was involved in one of those early incidents. I think he was off in the sand in turn one because he clearly has the pace to be running at the front, but he's just so far off now.
Yeah, and just 10 minutes to go now in this race. It's possible that Horvath catches Peterson. They've been chipping away at that lead, and I don't know. We'll have to see. Michael McLeod is kind of falling off the back of Horvath as well.
Yeah, after he got, too close into turn one, locked up his brakes. Seems like he had to just back off a little bit. I don't know whether it was mental or if it was, some overheated tires. He just needed to pull back for a second, and still has the pace to catch back up for sure. It's not that he went off track or anything.
Yes. So, young Choi looking for Almario, but not in this instance. Well, he's got a good exit though, but the nature of the corner with Murillo on the inside does not allow him to. It's not.
Oh no!
Ah, my good old curse.
He was just thinking about being on the left and then steered too much. So I know you can see what happened there. And Sproul putting in another purple lap time. Again, he's got 8 seconds ahead of him to Manrique.
Yeah, he's definitely chipping down at it, but I don't think it'll be enough. But meanwhile, out front is a 1.3 second gap, 1.2 second gap. So that's definitely coming down. Horvath might have it by the very, very end. Aaron Hall up the inside, though, on Morera, and gets it done as Morera, we see a little smoke coming out of his tires, locks up his brakes a little bit.
Oh, Miguel de Souza crashing out of the final corner.
Oh, boy.
And worst time to crash, too, because now you got to go all the way around.
Yes, you do. That's going to be one of the longest tows you can possibly get.
Well, he's at least driving, but it looks bad. It looks like it's not driving totally straight. It was the front left that he crashed in, and that tire's not facing the totally right direction. Purple there by Malcolm McLeod, though, so certainly has recovered, as I kind of thought he might be able to. And he's got Devin Horvath just about a second in front, which Devin Horvath's now closed it down to a second to Peterson. And that previous lap, they were about equal, but over the last 5, he's been about 0.2 a lap faster.
Yeah, he's definitely catching up. And just to show you how competitive this field is, I mean, they've been bouncing around that fastest lap. It's gone all the way down to 5th place. I'm pretty sure everybody in the top 5 held it for some amount of time in this race. It's just so close on pace.
Well, I mean, even in Ben Peterson, his fastest lap is 1,000th faster than Horvath's behind. So, yeah, if that goes to show how close they are. But Horvath is about to send this sub 1 second. He just did right there. So it's sub 1 second from Horvath to the leader with about 5 laps to go.
Alrighty, so that makes them one of the closest people on track. The twisty nature of this track definitely lends well to more spread out in our racing, but obviously Horvath says, I don't care, I am going to catch up, and that's what he's put his mind to, and he's got 6 minutes and about 15 seconds to make it work.
And that's that damaged car of Miguel de Souza that's in front of those guys. So next couple laps or so, they're gonna come up to that car. So hopefully it doesn't impact this battle. Although they're so close, it almost has to. It's down to for a second there, it was down to 0.7 coming through that sweeping right-hander.
Yeah, it all matters on where you look and what corner you're in, because each driver is maybe a little bit faster, a little bit slower, depending on the corner.
Horvath went a little bit wide there, got in the grass, but was able to survive. He's got to stay aggressive.
Julian, though. That's gonna give Horvath an advantage there, as Peterson has to check up.
Yes, maybe he had to check up as well. Actually, though, Actually, McLeod seems to be the one that was helped the most by it. I think Horvath maybe only gained a tenth, but McLeod gained probably 4/10 on Horvath in front.
Yeah, it's not as big of a help as I initially thought it would have been, but he did gain a little bit, did Horvath, on Peterson there. And it's going to come down right to the end now. 7/10 separate first to second and second to third.
4 laps to go.
All right. Well, this is shaping up to be quite the battle.
Yeah, these are some of the closest guys on track, and it's for the lead. We have Troy Fenelon back there, pretty close to Mark Santana, as we see less than a second, and that's fighting for some positions to gain back after Fenelon has dropped 6, with a lot of this field already actually having been lapped as well.
Yeah, they've lapped all the way up to just about 10th place there, with Young Choi, who I believe is still ahead. Yes.
Well, in this lap so far, it's been pretty much steady with those top 3 all separated by 7/10. I mean, 7/10 is about the gap where you don't really feel pressured behind. You can take your corner how you want it. Once we start getting down to that 4 or 5/10, that's when moves can be made, and you can kind of take you out of it. And then Horvath again going pretty wide there. I mean, I think he's got to be racking up at least a couple incident points. Nothing like we saw at Silverstone last week, where we actually had a few front runners get a late drive-through from incident points.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting an incident point. At least it does not show on my information, but that doesn't mean they aren't. Samuel Sproul there with a 121.3. They are just progressively putting in these blazing laps.
Yeah, after the tire update a couple weeks ago, that was right before Hockenheim, just seems like the drivers are able to put in fast laps later in the heats, which they couldn't do for the first few weeks.
For sure, it's really helping with the tire degradation, and they're not falling off quite as much. They're kind of feeling better, obviously, as they can put in faster laps.
Horvath definitely closing up. It's now 5/10. We're getting to that pressure zone for Peterson in front, and McLeod's actually falling back off. So Horvath is definitely putting in some good pace between these 2 guys right now.
Yeah, he's kind of doing very nicely for himself. There are, let's see, probably 2 laps to go here.
Except 2 to go.
So, if Horvath can't make it happen on this lap, it's gonna have to happen next lap, and that gap is not coming down as much as he'd like it to at the moment.
He didn't have a perfect final corner there. Actually had to kind of let off the gas early. It's a really tough one to get right.
So we'll have to see. It's so tense. After 28 minutes, the gap out in front is 6/10, and behind him, another 6/10. It's so very tight. I am so excited to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy with all the huge gaps that we've got behind, even from 3rd to 4th, which is 14 seconds. And Sproul has been commendably catching up quite a lot to Valverde in front. We've seen a lot of purple laps from him, but with 3 seconds more to go, I just don't think it's probably going to happen. But yeah, these 3 up at the front have clearly shown themselves to be 3 of the best guys on the track right now, and have made virtually no mistakes also.
Yeah, not a foot set wrong. And that's what you need when you're competing at this level. These guys are 3,000 I rating, or thereabouts. I mean, 2,500 and
The mistake there by Horvath.
Yeah, Horvath looks like he went a little bit wide there in the final corner again.
Yeah, it was another case of trying to start it too early and then having to lift off throttle and then getting back on it, and it looks like that's probably taking him out of contention for the lead. Peterson can just keep it chill. McLeod's actually pressuring him a lot more from behind, 3/10.
Yeah, there's 1 lap to go. This is the white flag lap. So this is for all of the biscuits. It's not looking like it's going to be for Horvath here, this win, because he fell way off in the final corner. But McLeod is looking like he wants that 2nd place. But the question is, how bad does he want it?
And where to do it? There's not many opportunities. He's going to go wide to try to do a different line here and see if maybe that can pay, but it doesn't look like it's going to, because this was the next best place going into this corner. We actually saw Horvath get around Valverde here.
Yeah, just can't make it work. He's definitely tight. He's right on the bumper there, and he wants it, but I don't think he's going to have it. The clock just strikes 30 minutes, so I think that's going to be it. There's not really a move you can make in this final corner in turn 14. So Ben G. Peterson, after jumping the leader on the start, is going to win the feature race here in Porsche Cup Challenge, and very nicely done. No change behind with Horvath or McLeod. They're going to finish how we predicted, with McLeod in third. Further back, this is Valverde, Manrique Valverde, crossing the line, and very nicely done for that fourth place. He lost only one spot from where he started, which is more than a lot of people can say here tonight. We've had a lot of big losers. There's Carl Ribbing and Aaron Hall, and then finally Dan Morera, being followed there by Michael Murillo. Young Choi, who had some issues, makes it cross the line, and a 10th place, not too bad. Lots of cars getting stuck in the wall. Marco Valverde, who had a very strong start to his race, but unfortunately it didn't go quite his way. Is doing a nice little power slide there. Michael Carrillo, Stefan Chalafou. We got Troy Fenelon, and Gary Watson is coming through the final turn now as well. And there's Mark Santana, and Steven Eckenrode is going to be our final finisher. Not final finisher, but the last one across the line. So, quite a race, I'd say, my friend. Let's take a look at our results. So, Ben G. Peterson takes the win, and then Devin Horvath follows him. Michael McLeod, despite how hard he could try, could not get past Horvath for that second place. So third place is what he'll have to settle for. Then Manrique Valverde and Samuel K. Sproul. Then Carl Ribbing, Aaron Hall, Dan Morera, Michael Murillo, Young Choi, Marco Valverde, Michael Carrillo, Stefan Chalafou, Troy Fenelon, Gary Watson, Mark Santana, Steven Eckenrode, Miguel F. Souza. Then we've got Aiden Young, Luigi Santiago, Philippe Straffarelli, Shannon Mothral, Ariel Julian, Crispin Hudson, and Antoine DeCache, who didn't take the start. So
yeah, some really strong showings by the top two in both classes. Current leader Sam Sproul, he got second and fifth. Devin Horvath, as we spoke a lot on there, he was first and second. And then for the AMs, Carl Ribbing finishing there first for all the amateurs, and Aaron Hall, who's in second, finishing second for the amateurs there in the feature.
Yeah, quite an exciting race, even though it's not as easy to pass around here. Still provided for some great racing. So where are we going next week? Do you know?
I knew, and I'm
Belle Isle.
Belle Isle, yes, Detroit Belle Isle, a street track.
So it's gonna be quite an interesting one, and I think it'll be, I mean, similar to this street track, harder to pass, but I think it'll be some good racing nonetheless.
Yeah, it'll be. You can't make any mistakes there for sure.
All right, well, we'll see you in 1 week's time. Good night, everybody.